Hello, everyone, and welcome to My Spiritual Money RX. This is your host, Vivian S.D. Guzman, the #1 money magnet activator. So today we have a special presentation on the effective ways for you to manifest your ideal client. So if you are a business owner and it seems like you're spinning your wheels and it seems like you've done everything that you can, I want you to look within. So this is our regular TV show that I would love for you to really understand who you are and what messages do you send out into the world. So the #1 thing for you to do every single morning may be to actually go within. So I wanted to share with you a practice that I do every single day, which is a form of meditation. So you're probably thinking, I thought we're going to be learning about effective marketing, right? Or effective ways to reach our ideal clients. Yes, we are. And the thing that I wanted to share with you is you first are your ideal client, right? So you have gone through the changes in your life. It could be you've gone through different difficulties and challenges that you have experienced from the time when you were younger. And it could be that was building you up to be where you are today. So we have talked about so many different things, and this is about reaching now other people for them to be in your fold, so to speak, right? So the one thing that I want you to please work on is we're going to discuss today the different ingredients that's important for you to actually invite your ideal clients in. And we're going to be hearing from some of our top-notch coaches in the industry as our special guest to see how did it actually help them understand themselves, because when they understood themselves, somehow it became the platform for allowing in and inviting in the right people into their lives. All right, so I'm going to discuss today first the different ingredients that are super, super important before you even do the to-do list, so to speak, right? So there's a lot of self-awareness and self-assessment that we're going to be doing today. And we're also going to be finding out from others what kind of self-discovery and self-assessments have they done to actually help them understand who their ideal audience is and how can they actually market to them. So I want to welcome for today's show, my very special guest today is Miss Teddy No. Hi, Teddy.
Hi, Vivian. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for gracing our show. Can you share with who you are? Like, what kind of work do you do?
Yes. Yes, my name is Teddy Noeb, and I'm empowering women coach, author, and speaker. And I specifically work with women who are struggling with emotional eating disorders. I help them reclaim their power they once gave away, love their bodies, and love their life.
That's right. That's right. And you can see she's a role model, right? She looks good. She feels good.
And I'm happy.
And you're happy. That's very important because who wants to work with a grouchy coach?
Indeed.
Okay. So thank you, Teddy, for gracing our show today. And I'm going to go back and forth discussing these efficient ways of marketing, right? So, seems like I have a feedback loop going on. Yeah. So the #1 important ingredient, integrity to self. To yourself, right? So we have lower, middle, and higher self. And I know, Teddy, you have been a great example for us women who's been through difficulties. Right? Can you share with them your initial
Can you
challenge
share with them your initial challenge
when you were marketing to the ideal
marketing
audience?
to the ideal audience?
I would love to, Vivian, thank you for that. You know, we live in a society that we are expected to fit in someone's standard or form. And this is where I was coming from when I was speaking to my clients. So I would say the right things because I did believe that my message was needed and my message needed to be heard. Pardon me. But whenever I was talking, it seems like no one was hearing me. And looking back in retrospective at that space and time, I don't think I felt worthy enough of receiving myself. And I felt like I had certain blocks that were preventing me from receiving openly. Thus, my message was not being heard by all these women that needed to hear me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. And sometimes it's a timing
And
issue,
sometimes
right?
it's a timing issue, right?
And
That is true.
sometimes,
That is true. And mhm. we talk about human design too, and you're the generator, I'm the projector, and I'm a very assertive person. I'm a very driven person, but I found over and over again in my life experiences in the past that as I was trying to assert my message and make myself heard, that kind of assertiveness was repelling people or they did not want to hear me
yes.
because of me having to wait to be invited.
Mm-hmm.
So timing is very important. Yes.
So yeah, as a generator, if
So, yeah,
anybody
as
is
a generator,
familiar
if
with human
anybody is
design, I
familiar
have
with
to
human
wait,
design, I have to wait,
respond,
respond,
and then get going.
and then get going.
And then for a
And then
projector,
for a projector,
Teddy needs to wait to be
Teddy needs
invited.
to wait to be invited.
Indeed. And what I found with that too is when I accepted the fact that this is how I best operate as a human being based on my design, invitations started coming my way.
Mm-hmm.
I did not
Yeah.
feel that desperation of having, I did not have attachment to a specific outcome, right? This is what you teach. And you
Yep.
helped me so much with that. As soon as I let go of the attachment and the expectation, the invitation started coming. And where the beauty of this comes is also the second part as a projector. We not only wait to be invited, but we use discernment and judgment of which invitations are right for us. That's
Yeah,
the
you
second beauty of it.
yes to every single invitation, especially if it doesn't feel right for
Especially
you.
if it doesn't feel right for you.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Now, for some people, there are
Now, for some people,
manifestors.
there are manifestors.
So I am, therefore I do.
So
That's their
I
mantra,
am,
right?
therefore I can do. That's their mantra,
Therefore,
right?
the
Therefore,
manifestors
the
appear as very
manifestors
bossy.
appear as very bossy.
However, they have to
However,
inform
they have to inform
others. That's their job.
That's their job.
They shouldn't be doing all the
They
work.
shouldn't
They
be
just have
doing
to
all the
inform.
work. They
Like,
just
you know
have
how
to
a king or a
inform.
queen
Like,
would
you know
say,
how a king or a
"Here's the
queen would
decree.
say,
Here's the new law." That's
here's
a
the new
manifesto.
law. That's a manifesto.
Mhm.
Yep,
Mhm.
that is true.
So they are like
So
go-getters,
they are like go-getters,
and they're born with an ability to
and
make
they're
it
born with
happen.
an ability to make it happen.
And sometimes they get
And
very
sometimes
frustrated
they
because
get very
not everyone's
frustrated
ready,
because not everyone's ready,
right? So
right?
That is very true. And I heard you say something very important. You said manifestors, when they don't get recognized for the message they have to deliver, they get frustrated. And in life, I believe when we're not living our theme and the way we're operating or supposed to be operating, we fall into the not self theme, which is the opposite of what we're supposed to do.
right,
Like
right.
for a projector,
Right.
if I'm not successful, if I'm not being invited and being heard, I go to bitterness. And that's not a good feeling. And that's not a good state to be working out of.
No, not at all. And even the
And
reflectors, there's
even the
another type,
reflectors,
right?
there's
The
other type, right?
reflectors have to
The
wait for a
reflectors
full
have to
moon
wait for
cycle,
a full moon
sometimes
cycle,
several moon
sometimes
cycles,
several moon cycles,
in order for them to actually make
order
a
for them to
decision.
actually make a decision.
So,
I absolutely agree, Mary.
I want to read.
uh,
Oh,
And a reflector, actually, these are very special beings amongst us because they have no formations. They have no set centers. Any of their centers, they're open. And when I say they're open, it doesn't mean that they don't experience those centers. They're not defined, but they not only get from what's around them, but the additional part to that is they amplify anything they get. So
right.
times
So
10, times 20.
yeah, they're prone more to conditioning, like other people
Mhm.
telling them how they should be. So all those white centers that don't have any colors, sometimes even no gates that are defined, those are very prone to conditioning. Okay, so
That is
when we
true.
say think about this, right? So if you are have a lot of white centers, and remember, we all feel
And
this,
remember, we all
love,
feel this.
right? I want to feel loved.
I want
We
to
all
feel
want
loved.
that, right? We
We all
want
want
some good feeling
We want
emotions,
good feeling emotions,
especially if we did not get it
especially
from
if we did
our
not get it
parents
from
when we were
our
growing up,
parents,
from
when
our
we were growing
relatives.
up, from
It's the
our
sad part.
relatives.
We
The sad part.
now
We
look
now
for substitutes sometimes, and it could be
sometimes.
the
And it could
attention
be
from
attention
media,
from
attention from our
attention
potential
from
clients.
our
So you
potential
really want to
clients.
be
So you really
certain
want to be certain
of who you are, okay?
of who you are. Okay?
Because when you are
Because
stable
when
in
you are stable in
you are certain.
you are
People
certain,
would gravitate toward
people
you
would
more
gravitate toward you more
because they feel good around you.
because they feel good around you.
I mean, it's very simple. Either
I
you
mean,
feel
it's
good or
very
you don't
simple.
feel
Either
good.
you feel good or you don't feel good.
Yes?
I love it.
Yes.
And I love it. And the only way to be certain in living your truth and your design is to live off those defined centers that you have, because this makes you who you truly are. And like you said, when people hang around people that are happy and secure in themselves, they're like magnetic to others. They want to feel their high. They want to have their smile and their confidence and their attitude. Those kind of people are very contagious in a very good way.
Yes, exactly.
Yes,
Okay,
exactly.
the number two ingredient
The number
is
two ingredient
you
is
need to ask yourself,
you need to ask yourself,
who would you like to help?
who would you like to help?
Clients are the younger version
Are
of
the
you.
younger version of you?
Does that resonate, Teddy? Like you've
That
already
resonate,
solved
Teddy? Like you've already solved the problem.
So share with them what problem
So
you
share with
solved.
them what problem you solved.
That's a great question. When we're trying to figure out our avatar or who is the client that really truly needs us, we need to go back in our own storyline and dig into our moments. And most of the time, our pivotal moments are usually our most heartbreaking moments when we're at the very bottom of bottom, and those moments define us. And with this being said, the avatar, the clients we help. For me, Vivian, that moment was, I remember I was 23 years old. I was new to the United States. I was working illegally as a babysitter, and I was reaching for the next food in a pantry to stuff myself with. I was suffering from emotional eating disorder. And I remember I was taken aback by this awful taste in my mouth. And I went back to the pantry to figure out what the heck had I just eaten, to realize I had just eaten dog treats. So the pain, the shame, the humiliation, that very bottom moment in my life defined me. With this being said, now I help young women today who suffer from emotional eating disorders. Because
Yeah.
although it took me decades to overcome them, I don't
Right.
want these young women to suffer decades in overcoming them, because there is help. I lived this sad story, but I also left them, and I want to show them how they can as well.
Right, right. Exactly. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you so much for that.
You're
All
welcome.
right.
All
So
right.
I'm going to
So,
add to
I'm
our
going to add
live
to
show
our live show
Chris Ternate, who is our
Chris Ternate, who
marketing
is our marketing
guru.
guru.
Hi, Chris.
Hi, Chris.
Hi, Chris.
Welcome, welcome.
Welcome,
Thank
welcome.
you.
Okay, so I'm going to turn
Okay.
off my mic
I'm
because
gonna turn off my
echoing.
because
You guys hear my echo, right?
you guys hear my echo, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, interesting. Okay, Chris,
Oh, interesting.
been
Okay,
in
Chris.
the marketing world,
Marketing
digital
world,
right?
digital
So can you share with people, like, how can they really attract their ideal audience when they're marketing?
when they're marketing.
So,
So,
just clarifying the question, how do we find the audience?
How do we find the audience?
Let's start with that.
Let's start with that.
Finding your audience is,
Finding your audience is.
let's just say marketing
Let's just
is,
say
it's kind of like law of
marketing
attraction, right?
It's kind of like law of attraction, right?
You attract who you are.
You attract.
So if you're
who
in
you
a
are.
scarcity
So if you're
mode
in a,
as a
scarcity
business,
mode as a business,
you tend to attract the same
attract
clients.
the same clients.
So the first thing you need to do
So the
is
first thing
reevaluate,
you need to
where
do
are
is
you in business?
reevaluate, where are you in business?
Are you on struggle mode
Are you
or are you on
struggle
thriving mode?
or are you on thriving mode?
Because that will
Because
totally
that
be a
will
game changer.
Totally be a game changer.
If you constantly put something out
you
there because
constantly
you're
put
on
something out there
desperate mode
because
to
you're
get a
on
client,
desperate mode to get a client,
you will get clients who are on
you
desperate
will
mode.
get clients who are on desperate mode.
So looking at your messaging
So
and
looking
where
at your
you are is
messaging
the most
and where
important
you are
part.
is the most important part.
The platforms, Facebook
The
traffic,
platforms,
Google
Facebook
traffic,
traffic,
funnels,
Google
websites,
traffic,
all those stuff
funnels,
are
websites,
important,
all those
but
stuff
it
are
is not the most important
It's not
because
the most important because
it doesn't matter where you are
doesn't
online. If
matter.
you're spreading desperate message, you're going to get desperate clients. So keeping that in mind is start off with your messaging, where you are and how do you speak. That way, when you spread your message out there, you are spreading a good one. And that's when you could determine if your marketing strategy is good.
So it starts with us as the business owner, every single business. That's what I'm hearing you say.
Mm-hmm.
We have to look within us.
Yes.
That's why we love human design and other tools that you have learned, right? Also from other healers, because when you know who you are, no one can tell you otherwise.
Yes. And I want to add that because a lot of business owners, and I see this in building marketing strategies, is they're all over the place. They have multiple offers. They don't know what offer is working. So at the core level, they are confused. And then the client comes in and then they're confused as well. What are you really offering? What do I need? Where am I at? So
Mm-hmm. Yes, and even just from my own experience, right? I have seen that. So I have put out a bigger offer for those that are really serious, because those that are serious, they want the transformation and they want the change to happen, right? They're not paying thousands of dollars to like have nothing. They really want a change, not just within, but this is long term. This is a lifetime of change that they can use for the rest of their life. And then you start to offer those people, like I've seen $25, $35 offers, $97 offers. There's different a variety, right? And some of them are really great materials, but sometimes, like you said, your own issues kind of reflect in your offer, literally. Of course, the more hand holding, the more personal touch, the bigger the price point, right?
Yes.
So I have these questions that I usually share with my clients, right? Who is your ideal client? So you have to know who you want to hang out with. Because if you don't like hanging out with them, well, don't put out that offer, because you're going to be with them for a while, right? 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. If you don't like certain people, like certain characteristics, so you really have to be clear on that. Who do you like and who do you not really like hanging out with? Because when you are certain 100%, then you can actually attract them. It's not muddy waters. Then now after you know that, you got to know, where do they hang out? Because if you go certain places, so let's say you go to a bar, but then your ideal client doesn't go to a bar because you never touch alcohol, right? Don't go there. It's like it doesn't make sense, but people just like you said, Chris, it's like a hose. What do you call that? A hose down marketing, or spray everywhere you go, right?
Spaghetti marketing. Throw
Like
it out there,
spaghetti
see what
on the
sticks.
wall marketing, right? And then when you figure out where they hang out, go there. Then what is the one thing they want the most? See, if you resolve one thing for them, that will really like open them up to other possibilities. It's like, whoa, that was fast. How did that happen? Like, I can actually be a different person than I knew I was, right? Because of the programming of how we were brought up in our families. I mean, that is a journey by itself. So Teddy, can you share a little bit about your experience on, how you had a thought before of what being a business owner is like, and then you realize what a business owner really is like?
Absolutely. Can you hear me? There we
Can
go.
hear
Can
you.
you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, I would love to share, Vivian. As you know, I left a 20+ career in education, and I had to leave the employee mentality to being an entrepreneur, right? So many of us, we're so excited, full of passion, and we go into this business to make so much money, and we start speaking our message and nobody's hearing us. And oftentimes, this can be a very disheartening experience. What I would suggest for anyone that is just branching into that new business, they want to transform other people's lives, give yourself time. And with this being said, give yourself also time to make mistakes. It's our failures, and you know me, Vivian, very well. I'm a very type A driven personality. I'm a perfectionist, and oftentimes I did not see the value of my own failures. Yet, none of us learn from our successes, right? The way we best learn is from our failures. Give yourself some cushion, some financial cushion that can take you over a period of time, but most of all, just be yourself and be unique in delivering of your message, because everybody else is taken, and the best way you shine to others is to be your very true, authentic you. That's how you help others. And Chris mentioned, like, don't try to solve everybody's problem, okay? Because when you try to solve everybody's everything and problem, nobody's hearing you. Focus on that thing, one thing that you have a track record, you're good at. That was your mess, and you, Vivian, said it. Make your mess your message, right? That was your mess. Make it your message and help others. That's what I have to say.
Awesome. Okay, and then is it important, Teddy, and then to have a goal?
Yes. Goals are very important. Goal setting is very important. Have annual goals, have quarterly goals, but also have rewards. Reward yourself and give yourself for reaching those goals. And if certain goals are not reachable at certain time frame, look at what you need to tweak and change, adjust and change, and decision has to be made. But it's okay if over a period of time you need to go back and tweak that decision because it's no longer accurate or relevant. So learn to be flexible and reward yourself.
Great. Thank you, Teddy. That's really
Thank you,
sound
Teddy. That's
advice.
really.
All right. Okay. So now I'm going to bring up Chris again. And I know there are different channels available out there, right? So for us to reach our ideal audience, what would be different channels available to people? And how do they know like that is a good thing to go into? So I'm going to post it here. Okay.
So
Go ahead.
channel. So imagine you got invited to a party, right? With different group of friends. So think about Facebook, Instagram, YouTube as a party room, right? But those different friends have different personalities. You know, there are friends where you could be yourself, all rowdy and, you know, raw and cool. But then there are professional friends where you just need to be, you know, professional and not really tame, but, you know, more on the business side. So that's LinkedIn, right? Facebook, on the other hand, is a social platform where you just talk. It's a communication platform. You share things. But at the same time, Facebook, as compared to Instagram, is very truthy when it comes to your posts. It's okay to post twice a day, but if you post 5 times in a row, people are going to say, oh my gosh, right? They're not going to receive it accordingly as compared to Instagram. Instagram, you could post 10 pictures at a time and it's okay, right? TikTok, on the other hand, TikTok, you could post as many as you want and people are gonna like it. So they keep watching your 15-minute video, and that's okay. So when it comes to choosing your platform, know your target audience and what they like and their interests are. Because if you're on Facebook and you keep posting professional stuff with your Facebook friends, that's a different story. Same thing with your Instagram. If you keep posting business stuff on your personal profile, it's kind of weird, right? It's an off topic. But if you have a business profile with friends or your target audience who are on the spiritual realm, or you know, more in the healing side, it's a different way to talk to them as compared if they're on the business end. So you kind of gauge, you know, the tonality of how you put your message out there. YouTube, on the other hand, is very different. You know, you post something on YouTube that is content worthy. That means how-to stuff, and attention span on YouTube is less than 5 minutes. That's great. You could have an hour video on YouTube, but it takes a while for them to actually watch and digest an hour worth of content. TikTok, 15 minutes. So stringing those platforms, right? Facebook, you could post something, but it's rare that people would watch an hour-long video unless they are extremely interested. So you
Yes.
could use different platform like Twitter and TikTok to drive traffic to a Facebook or YouTube account for them to watch a longer video.
Got
So
it. Okay. So it's really discernment and really knowing your boundary and even what you like. Because if you don't like certain things, well, that's the first ingredient, right? Know what you like first. Because remember, your clients get attracted to you. So if you don't like certain things, why do you go there? It's like, I don't understand people like, you don't like that platform. Why do you even post there?
yes,
Because
I mean,
emotionally, you're not engaged.
Twitter has a different tonality. It's more dry and witty as compared to Facebook, where you could be conversational on your post, right?
Right.
Instagram is, you know, like a one-liner thing. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. So when they are actually making this offer, right? And I noticed this, if they are not confident, people can't come in, right? Like,
Yes.
do you really truly believe that what you're offering is going to help them? So you, as the person, the business owner, need to be 100% convinced with what you're offering. Does that make sense? So that's why confidence is super critical. if you don't trust yourself, do you see why the integrity to self is critical? If you don't trust yourself, no one will trust you anyway, because it's like a magnet. You're magnetic, especially the generators, manifesting generators. We attract people. So whatever you're feeling at that time, especially if you're driven by your emotions, that's what happens in your business. That's why Chris is here when she brings a system in place. In other words, it's a rinse and repeat. You know how a robot can operate, right? Like a robot doesn't have an emotion. It just does its work. So let's say I program a robot that it has to serve me breakfast or ask me what I want for the day. Master, what do you like for the day? Right? Like that's every 6 o'clock in the morning, it has to wake me up and ask me that way. So the systems are built, rinse, repeat, constantly, rinse and repeat. So Chris, share with them your genius, because I know you're such a genius when it comes to these algorithms. Can you give us a little bird's eye view of how these things really work when it comes to the offer? Like how do we even get started?
So first you got to have an offer, right? An offer
Right.
that is relatable to the system. So think about it as you're a scientist and you have this offer that you're going to be putting out in the market. And at first you won't have data because you don't even know if they're going to like it or if they don't, if you have to change it and how you're going to message it. So the first few months will be a real test, and you have to be really strong and handle it, because a lot of times the market would go, nope, that's not exactly what I want. I want something else. But then you're offering something. It's like forcing a round peg on a square hole, right? It's not going to work. So thinking about it is I'm kind of getting off tangent here, but the systems part is, when it comes to your offer, is really looking at your time spent. How much time are you dedicating running after your customers and nurturing them one by one, and your leads go lost because you don't have a follow-up system? So using your offer, looking at your time and saying, okay, which part of my day can I automate? That way I could grow more of my business and I could step into my genius. And there are a lot of things you could automate. Every single aspect of your life you could automate. But there are some things that you need to to be the one doing it manually.
Right, right.
The biggest decision a business owner needs to do is to just trust in the system, because they're going to build it themselves anyway, right? Step by step, what needs to happen, from lead generation to appointment booking to follow up to onboarding. All that process could be automated, and getting that system turned into your staff member, that way they could repeat it, rinse and repeat. So going back to the offer is, yes, the first few months will be a test. Once you find that offer that actually works, then you create a system from there. And then you do that over and over and have at least 3 products at the end of the year. And you're going to be running a multi-million-dollar business, because your 3 products is going to be systematically in place, and you could just grow that. You know, some people will have, it's kind of like the Apple story, right? When Steve Jobs came back in and then deleted and took out almost 200 products from Apple and just stuck to one, and then it grew from there. Apple, shut up. But I mean, yeah. But
There's clarity
for that offer. So
Yes.
having that one offer that works and just using that and building your business from there, will greatly impact your business. And going back on what Teddy said, you can't serve everybody. There is a life journey of a customer. You can't at starting up, you cannot have that whole package in. You got to start at one stage. Where are they in the business? So
Yes, definitely. So for example, for me, the people that I serve are the ones that are already CEOs, they're business owners, they're entrepreneurs. So that's how it evolved, right? So, but in the beginning, I wasn't doing that. I was serving every single one. And then I realized not everybody wanted to heal themselves and their business. So then eventually I got into this place that I serve a lot of the high profile CEOs, majority of them female actually, and they would like to feel more aligned. Even if they're delegating here and there, it's funny how that self-sabotage still comes in, their head. It's just so interesting. And then the people that I've trained now, they're going to be serving those other people that are just starting out. Does that make sense? But I didn't get here like overnight, because people think I got here overnight. No, not really. There's blood, sweat, and tears. There's some challenges. There were some disappointments. It's all part of the journey. That's part of that, right? So once you identified your lane, you stay there. And that's the key here. Because if you know your ideal clients, you show up differently for that person, right? Because that's like the best version of you need to be in front of the client, not the other way around. You don't expect your client to help you get there. You have to get there, and then your clients, now you attract them to your field. Does that make sense? Yes, exactly. All right. So I wonder if you have any questions, like Teddy, do you have any questions for Chris, for example, as you build this empire of yours? I saw Teddy with an empire, by the way. Oh my God. Okay, so let me remove. All right, go ahead, Teddy. Oh,
Awareness. Can you hear me?
yes.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So, Chris, obviously, you're very knowledgeable on the social presence and awareness. So, I'm also seeing these people and coaches, they try to be on every single social media platform. What is your thought trying to be too thin and everywhere? And with this being, you cannot go too deep in any way, being shallow versus trying one social media strategy and awareness and being strategic, and let's say try it for 60, 90 days. So you have some actually accurate data, what works for you based on the message you are working on delivering. What are your thoughts on that? Being everywhere on all social media platforms versus choosing one or two strategically?
There's a benefit for being everywhere. It's like omnipresence, right? So you cast a wider net. So it's good that people are aware of you. The only down part about that, if you don't have enough staff in place or systems in place to reply and build relationships with the people who interact with you on certain platforms, then it's pretty much a waste of leads, right? So yes, people see you, but you're not communicating with them. So the gold is when you are communicating with them on all platforms. So there are a lot of systems, let's say leads and buyers right now, GHL, they have this omnipresence inbox where you could connect every social platform to just one inbox and your email as well. So then you could communicate with people there. So it's nice to be everywhere on every platform with the right messaging, but at the same time, it is a lot of work. Imagining going to 4 different rooms of the party and just saying hello, 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 and then leaving, So, but yeah, it's nice and it's a lot of it's hard work. But once you have the department there with communication, then it's good to go. It's going to grow your business so much faster. Teddy, you're on mute.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
That's a good point you made. So the ultimate goal is actually scaling your business and having staff in place who can handle that for you. And where I'm headed with that is also, Vivian, I remember you saying you need to bring a lot of value and touch those potential clients many times and give a lot of value before you expect anything in return. Can you elaborate on that, on the touching those clients?
The Vivian or me?
It's you.
Vivian.
It's you.
Oh,
Well, both of you ladies, both of you.
touch points is very important. It takes about 33 touches to convert someone from cold to hot leads, and then
33
essentially
now? That statistics has changed.
it happens so fast. But there are ways to make it faster, right? As long as every step of the journey, you either ask for something in return, either their time or finances. So time and finances gets the relationship more solid as compared if they watch you and then they forget about you, because our brains are, we forget things after 30 seconds anyway. But constantly, this goes back to knowing your audience. From the moment they wake up, what do they do? Where do they eat? Where do they hang out? Where do they work? And what do they do on their way back home? And what do they do before dinner? That way you know exactly which social platforms to choose. Because, for example, and this goes to touch points, right? People, the moment they wake up, they either check their email or their social media, right? Then they get ready for work. And what do they think about? And then they Google things, and then they eat breakfast, and they scroll on Facebook or their email, and then they go to work. And in their work, certain parts of the day they're very distracted before lunch and after lunch, so they're mostly on their phones again. And then they go back on their email, and then before they get home they check the traffic, so they're back on their phones again. So retargeting them with ads is good on certain parts of the day. Emailing them is good on certain parts of the day. Texting them is good on certain parts of the day. And before they sleep, that's when the most of the buying decision comes in. So I saw a trend on e-commerce stores that are high between 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. Because they're tired in the day, they want to feel better, they want something to look forward to, so they go on Amazon and order something. That way, when they get home the next day, they have some a package waiting for them. So it's nice to look at those touch points and really learning your audience, and their daily routines would boost your marketing.
That's awesome. Wow. Thank you for that information, Chris. That's like worth gold, people. I hope you are taking notes, and you can always get the replay, right, of this TV show, because we do this every Wednesday. So answering your question, Teddy, that's why I have my regular TV shows every Wednesday, right? Spiritual Money RX, because you can get so much education just by watching the show. It could be just that golden nugget that Chris Ternate just dropped right now, right? Because if somebody that's already doing the work told you that, like literally, she designs funnels for people like me, for corporations, for other high-profile business people. She has the experience, right? She's in the trenches. It's not like she just woke up one day and she wanted to do this today. No, she's been doing this, Chris, how many years now? Like
Since
how long?
2009, almost more than a decade.
Okay, it's about a decade. Okay, 10 years, right? I think that's enough experience for you guys. In other words, she's had the mistakes, correct? It's
Oh
not
yeah.
like you didn't know what you were doing initially. We never start like that. We never start like a baby walking and running. Yes? Because I think people want to just run. And I'm like, wait, you forgot to crawl. Do you know how to sit straight? Do you know how to get up properly? Do you know how to walk? So there are stages in the business. So you may want to really identify, again, to be simple, what is your end goal? Because remember, the goal will change. I think people are so afraid of making mistakes. They wanted like the whole enchilada, right? I want the Mercedes Benz. I like the big house. I like a party. I like great friends. You like the lifestyle. Yes, you can have it all, right? But there are ingredients to be put in place. So start with, who do you want to hang out? That's the very first thing. Who's your ideal client? Because if you don't like hanging out with them, I can guarantee you no one's going to buy your product or service, because you don't like them anyway. So if you have issues about yourself, like you don't like certain parts of you, That's the first thing you fix, right? That's the first thing you clear and say, okay, I love myself unconditionally. Then you go out there that no matter what the audience says, you still love yourself, okay? That's the whole key here. It's got to be a reciprocal thing, right? So then you love hanging out with your ideal client. And then you observe them. That's almost like an experiment. Is that the right word, Chris? You kind of experiment to see, well, where do they hang out? What do they like? How do they sleep? Do they go on vacation? Like there's so many factors. And when you gather that data, then you can create something for them.
Yeah.
And you yourself, you need to be convinced that it is such a great deal that you're offering this thing, package, project, or group for them. If you're not convinced, if you're not going to enroll yourself in the package that you have designed, no one's going to enroll there too. I want to tell you that. That's the law of attraction. You attract who you are. So you want to be ready for that, right? And then when you get to your end goal and then you realize it's time to upgrade my clients next time. So what do they do, by the way? So if they're in that transition mode, is there a good way to assess that, Chris? Is there any logical or objective way? Do you like write a list? Like when you're transitioning?
Transitioning from being an entrepreneur to a business.
Yes, yes, yes. So for example, because you know how you can be a solopreneur
Mm-hmm.
and then you can be an entrepreneur that you actually hire people. So you have to let go of that control, right? You start to let go of those things for effective marketing. Because if you're not good at marketing, you got to delegate it to someone who's good at it.
Yeah.
That's the shortcut right there. Like how, like it's almost like if you're a cow, but you try to be a chicken, how is that going to work? Like I don't understand that part.
So I learned this. Idiom, I think, is what you call it, or like a teaching from martial arts. So there's Chinese characters. I forgot the Chinese characters for it, but essentially it says first follow the rules, second break rules, third create your rules. So from transitioning from entrepreneur and being a business owner is first follow the rules. There are rules in business, there are rules in marketing that you need to follow, and the best way to find those is look at successful entrepreneurs and what are they doing, right? And stop reinventing the wheel because business is business and marketing is marketing. They've been there for years and they follow the same principles. So follow those principles. And then you could start breaking those, experimenting. Okay, if I do things different, what will happen? Because once you start following the rules, you'll get a baseline. Okay, how many sales do I need to have this week? How many money generating activities are in my calendar? Because that's one rule, right? If your calendar is filled with non-money generating activities, therefore the end of the week you don't have any income generating.
Can you share with the audience what is a money generating activity? Give us an example of that.
Money generating activity.
Yes.
Okay, so there's one-on-one money generating activity. That means we talk to our target audience and ask for the next steps. Sell something, service, give your service and put a price tag on it and ask for the decision. So that's one money generating activity, right? Or you could even chat with people on Facebook, know their pain and know how you could serve them and put a price tag on it and then follow up. Those are money generating activities. And then there's one-to-many. This is one-to-many, right? We educate people and at the same time, we invite them to join us with TWI and TWA and Vivian's program. So this is a part of money generating activities. And there are other money generating activities that are not direct. Like for example, a blog post that talks about your services. Or networking event is a marketing or a money generating activity. Building a website is part of the money generating activity, but it takes a while. So that's, it's important, but it's not money generating. It's more for building.
Awesome. Oh, thank you. That really explains a lot of things for people, Chris. Oh my gosh. This is just like we can talk all day and we will have all these ideas flowing. But our goal in this TV show is for you to execute one thing that you've learned, right? So if you're not done yet with taking care of yourself, doing self-care, you might want to do that first because your mind is super active. I mean, Chris knows this even from before. As I was working with other clients, I noticed their mind is super active. They have so many thoughts, and I'm like, can you just be quiet for a moment so that when I say something, you can hear it, right? And then you could do something about it or execute it if you like, if that really is in line with you. So you're going to have to start with you, right? You are your own magnet. You are the magnet of your universe. Then whatever you create, it's like a baby that came out of you, right? For those of you moms, there are babies that you have produced somehow in this lifetime. And there's a lot of parts of them that are like you. So your business is going to look like that. And you're going to nurture this baby, like Chris said, all these things that you want to put like the bells and whistles. It's like decorating your baby, making sure that the baby is presentable. And then when the baby is ready, you're going to launch this baby into the world. That's effective marketing. Now, you cannot be attached whether your baby is going to be accepted or not accepted because you will actually use the feedback from the public as a way of information for you to tweak your messaging, tweak your products or package and services. Because if you didn't get a feedback, well, only you know what that baby looks like. Nobody knows anything about that baby. Is that making sense?
Yep, that makes
Right.
sense.
Yes.
Right.
So if you know the steps, right? So don't skip a step because like Chris said, you may need to do one step at a time, like check, you can even put a list and then check, check, check. And then when you're ready, bring it out. Again, it's not about you. When people, when there's crickets, like you don't hear anything, because that's your way to look at what you are offering and go, okay, I wonder what my client really wants to buy. That's that. Okay? All right. Well, thank you so much, ladies. I am so excited that you joined me here today. And we're now wrapping up our show. And I want to thank everyone for tuning in. If you are interested or you have further questions, you can actually email me